Hi, this is Nikhil Jacob, founder of Bustling Brew Bistro Cafe. We are located in Wagle Estate, Thane. It's a place that serves good coffee, bistro-like food, and makes you feel at home. 2019. So I was outside Bombay for a good time. Every time I used to come to Bombay, we used to go for gigs, let's say on the western side, let's say to a South Bombay, NCPA, the High Vanderi, the Cuckoo Club, Bandra, just for random stand-up comedy gigs or live performances. So every time we used to travel to, let's say, the western side, it used to take somewhere about 1.5 hours just to travel to the location for a 1 hour show. And then again 1 hour back. So we were like, for a 1 hour show, we have to travel for 2.5 hours. Why does Thane not have something like that? So that is when the idea came into the picture, where we started with our first outlet called Spotlight Skydeck, primarily for gigs, events, live performances, stand-up comedy in Thane. So that was our first outlet. That is how I ventured into the hospitality industry, and then since then this is the second outlet, and that is how we are going forward with it. So we were based out of Wagle Estate, and Wagle Estate was positioned to be the next BKC of Bombay. Wagle Estate was touted to be that, and we could see a lot of projects coming up. Obviously, we expected faster growth, but it did not grow at the same rate. But in 2021, when we saw this space, and it was 4 individual small shops, when we saw the layout, we saw the space, we saw the first floor, and we realized this has a potential to become a good cafe. And in 2021, we realized Wagle Estate becoming the next BKC would require a small, quaint cafe, which is where people can come down, unwind with a cup of coffee, have their casual personal conversations, where the directors or the owners can come for a good cup of coffee. So that was the concept behind it, where we wanted a quaint cafe where everywhere else it was a lounge or a club or a pub where it was loud. Even in the afternoons it was loud. So we thought there is a requirement for a good space, quiet space in Wagle Estate at that point of time. Obviously, it did not grow at the same rate that we expected, but hopefully in the next 1 or 2 years, we reach that point where... So for the first 1 year, we were struggling, and we were definitely struggling, even with respect to the sales. But then that is when we realized it is not just a cafe, because a cafe generally has somewhere around 35 to 40 seat capacity, but this has a capacity of 85. Now, if we have to fill up 85 seats with just a cafe menu, it was going to be a little tricky. We need to rebrand ourselves, and we rebranded ourselves from Bustling Brew Cafe to a Bustling Brew Bistro Cafe, where the word bistro gave us the liberty of adding a few more dishes to the menu, and it also conveyed it to the guests that it is not just a cafe. If you want to have a fulfilling meal, and if the entire family wants to come together, there is something on the menu that can cater to every single member of different age groups in the family. So that is what helped us in the next 3 years, and where we are right now, where we feel it was a smart decision to do it. Because right now I can see people across different age groups, different ethnicities coming in and still finding something that they would like to try from the menu, and then everyone sitting together and having a conversation comfortably. Initially, like for the first 1.5 years, everyone was saying you need to get liquor license over here for it to survive. Like even people who have had 35 to 40 years of experience have said this, that without liquor license, I don't think this space would work, because it is a massive space. It's not a small cafe. We could see the trend across different outlets in Wagle Estate. We could see the trend where the youngsters probably were not that keen on having alcohol, or even if they wanted to have more alcohol, it was more experiential stuff. Like it was more experiential, like it was an event where mixology or cocktails was an event where they were celebrating that, and youngsters were going for that. But for straight up drinking, I did not see much of a pattern happening, like let's say 2-3 years back. So that is where we decided, I don't think we need liquor for this space. And with the kind of crowd that was coming in, we were like, probably we'll break our own clientele by introducing liquor into it. So we never ventured into the liquor aspect of it. We just focused on our food and our coffee and the varieties that we were offering. And then 4 years down the line, I think it was a smart decision for us to continue like that. I think primarily when we rebranded it, from a cafe to a bistro cafe, that was a unique point of ours, because generally whenever you go to a cafe, it is just a 35, 40 items, where it's more about sandwiches, pastas and pizzas. But here, if you see, it's a more elaborate menu. And also the USP, I would say, I think even when you all enter this space, you all must have felt a different warmth within this space. It's that comfort that we offer. It's our team on the floor, which ensures that you get that quality of hospitality, where every single aspect is questioned and then ensured that it is served to you properly. So the theme of the space, I think, is pretty much covered, I think, with respect to the nature of the space and then the requirement from outside, and then the first 3 years of its journey. The menu, I would say, is something that I have been questioning myself since the moment I have entered the industry. Like, everyone says, like, this is continental cuisine, oriental cuisine, what are the sauces in oriental cuisine? But then I have never been able to identify or define a particular cuisine. Like, for me also, if I ask you what is continental cuisine, I think I've asked a lot of chefs also, and probably a lot of chefs also have gotten confused with the same question. Like, for me, defining a cuisine is not required, but then the individual dishes where the flavor notes, let's say a miso butter, let's say a croissant with an almond butter filling, a croissant with a mustard honey dressing. So all these flavor notes is something that I was very particular of. So even when we were doing our research, obviously there were certain limitations with respect to the capacity of the kitchen, but then those flavors that we would not find anywhere else in Thane, for that matter, even in Spotlight, we were still struggling, because to get those flavor notes at a capacity of 220, 240 people was a little bit difficult. But when it came to the cafe, when it was about a limited size, let's say an 85 people capacity, I found it easier to execute it. So the flavors that I wanted at a larger scale was difficult. So with the cafe, it became my playground where I can experiment with the flavors. And then every time we experimented with it, I think in the last 2.5 years, we have done more than 12 to 13 festivals, ranging from burger festival, pizza festival, coffee festival, we have done a soup festival, we have done a meal bowl festival, we have done a dim sum festival, we have done a sushi festival, we have done a lot of festivals. So with those festivals also, those were like our experiments to understand or gauge what the customer also requires, what the guests are also wanting. Signature dishes down the line, there was one dish that was particularly very famous in Spotlight, which was an Oreo cheesecake. So that was the first time where I was introduced to a set cheesecake. So previously I was used to a Japanese cheesecake, which is more like a baked cheesecake, steam baked cheesecake, or a New York cheesecake, again a baked cheesecake, but then it is more on a cream cheese, more heavy side. So with the set cheesecake that we tried at Spotlight, I found the texture to be more like an ice cream, but still has the flavor of a cream cheese. Here, when we started, the first thing that we experimented was with Biscoff Cheesecake, and it has been there on the menu since our first menu in 2021, and it has been a hit since then. It is one of our signature dishes. I know it's a dessert, but then sweet is something that everyone likes. So it has been there. That is one of our hero dishes. The other hero dish that I would like to mention is mushroom vol au vent. That's a puff. It's a savory dish. Layers of puff pastry baked to perfection, filled in with creamy and cheesy mushroom filling. We can also do that same thing with spinach and corn. It's a great combination, but I think mushroom one is something that would be a personal favorite of mine. The other one would be in beverages. There's a salted caramel sea salt latte, which has layers of caramel, steamed milk, espresso, obviously that shot of espresso that you need, and foamed milk on top. So once you sip it, then I think you will fall in love with it even more. I think our pizzas are also great. The proportion of oil, water in our pizza dough is a secret. I wouldn't divulge it, but then I think our pizza dough is great. And if you try the cheese burst version of it, I think the cheese burst is also nice. I've gotten great reviews from people. Obviously, it is a little too heavy for you to consume individually. Probably when you're with your family, I think you should try it out. So our cheese burst pizzas, hand tossed, handmade, obviously, would be great. So that would be our fourth hero dish on our menu. Then if we venture into the Oriental cuisine, like I know spicy dan dan noodles is something that you will find in any Oriental restaurant, but then actual dan dan sauce requires tahini paste into it. It requires chili flakes, garlic, and then hot oil poured into it, and then it needs to be rested. So the actual authentic dan dan sauce has a long process associated with it. Not many are aware of it. Obviously, we are proud of it that we are doing it the authentic way, but when the guests also appreciate it or acknowledge it, I feel that our efforts into the kitchen are acknowledged and appreciated outside. So that is one hero dish, spicy dan dan noodles. I think there are many more on our menu, be it Oriental cuisine, be it Continental cuisine, be it American cuisine. There are many more on our menu. I think you all should try it out by yourself, and then you all would give us testimonies of our own food menu. For me, hospitality is all about whenever a guest walks into your restaurant, he needs to be happier by leaving the restaurant. It encompasses everything, be it seating him on the table, making him feel comfortable as soon as he's seated, serving him the right dishes. It's not just about handing him the menu, it is also recommending as per his taste profile. Probably he has come in to eat something spicy. Probably your menu does not define the items really well. He must have ordered something cheesy, but then if you are serving him right, you would obviously give him recommendations, make him understand the dishes, and make him eat the right dish for the taste profile that he had come in for. So if someone has come in for spicy, has eaten cheesy while going, he'll obviously say that probably he did not enjoy the food as much. But if he had come in for something spicy, we catered to him with a spicy dish, I think while going he'll definitely give us a thumbs up or a 5-star rating, because he was catered to really well. So not just handing him over the menu, giving him the right recommendations if he has chosen something that does not suit his taste profile, giving him suggestions about the same, serving him the right way, serving him hot food, ensuring that everything is as per his taste profile, as per his requirements, ensuring that he's happy to the end of the table till he walks out of the restaurant. That is hospitality for me. I don't think it can be defined in a course or something. I take 1 hour long interviews, and it is not just about his technical aspects, because he must have worked in a different restaurant. Every restaurant has different menus, different dishes, different cuisines. Probably he does not have an idea about your menu, your dishes. So technical aspect is a secondary part of it. But then his willingness to learn is something that I would like to know. So for the audience, obviously it's a different aspect. As you enter the cafe or a restaurant, you see the lights, beautiful ambience, you see the temperature of the air conditioning set at the right temperature. You feel comfortable as soon as you walk in. Probably the team on the floor also makes you feel extra special. Everything is glamorous from the outside world, but as soon as you know the back end of it, it is as good as a proper full whole business, where there are different aspects from like no matter how disciplined our team is, no matter how good our team is, if our team comes at 8 o'clock in the morning, but our vegetable supplier, our dairy supplier, our meat supplier does not come till 10 o'clock in the morning, there's no point in the team coming in at 8 o'clock. So there are many aspects, many different things. When it falls into place, that is when a restaurant functions smoothly, operates smoothly, and that is when even the guest that walks in feels comfortable. So those aspects where there is vendor management, there's inventory management, there's administrative aspects of team management, there's financial aspect where we need to ensure that our cost reports are proper, food costs are proper. Then there is training of our staff. Food is of great quality and the consistency is maintained with the same. So there are multiple aspects. So we have a lot of regulars who work out of the cafe, who come on a daily basis, who have celebrated their child's birthday, their parents' anniversary, their office's 25th anniversary. They have done all their occasions at the cafe. So there are different relationships with different regulars. One of our regular guests who work out of the cafe, they have set up their own media agency. So they were meeting one of their clients, and so that client had flown into Bombay just to meet them, to hire them, and that meeting was going on. I was made to meet the client. I was made to sit in the meeting as a part of their team, and I was representing their brand. So that's the comfort that even our regular guests have with me. They consider me also a part of their families. I've sat with them and strategized about their own companies as well. Obviously, they give me feedback about our business on a daily basis, but they have also received it from my end also. So we have different relationships with all our regulars, be it personal relationships, official relationships, or corporate regulars or individual regulars. We have different relationships, and it has grown only in the past 4 years, and I think there will be many more in the next decade at least. I need to develop a team first which can ensure that when we are expanding, that same level of comfort, the same uniqueness or USPs of our food menu is replicated at the other side. Just for the sake of expansion, I do not want to expand and say that we are a 3 outlet, or we are a 4 outlet, or we are a 5 outlet chain. Just for the sake of expansion, I wouldn't want to do it. But then if I can replicate the same comfort, same USPs that we have right now, where our team has become capable enough, which I can see the team moving forward towards. So once they become of that capability where they can ensure by going to different sites that the same thing is replicated, we are definitely looking forward to expand ourselves. If you ask me the expansion plan for the next 5 years, I can see ourselves having 2 more outlets as Bustling Brew Bistro Cafe. But it would definitely be a bistro cafe and not a cafe, because we would like to serve much more than a cafe. If you ask me the USP of our cafe or the soul of our cafe, I would say it would be our team. It's a set of extraordinary individuals, and that extra part of it is evidently visible within them. So as soon as you are on the floor, I think you will also be able to point out. So if you ask me the soul of our cafe, I would say it's the team on the floor. So first of all, I would like to thank the Indian Hospitality magazine for giving us this opportunity for conveying our message to the upcoming generations. And also with respect to the aspiring entrepreneurs in the hospitality management, I would say that the industrial training is an ideal setup which exposes you across different departments of the hospitality industry, ranging from F&B service, housekeeping, kitchen, and the front office, which is required when you are planning to start your own venture, where you need to understand, which demands your participation across different aspects like kitchen, service, inventory management, financial cost reports, feedback management, staff training and development, across different aspects. You can't just hold on to a single aspect of it and expect the rest of the aspects to fall into place. You need to have an understanding of the overall operations of a restaurant, hotel, or any other venture related to the hospitality industry. A small message for everyone would be, when we are sharing our stories, I would request you all to learn from our mistakes or others' mistakes, because if you have to learn from your own mistakes, I think it could be a costly affair. So be a little more attentive, learn from others' mistakes, and I think hospitality industry has a lot in store for you. Enjoy the process. Thank you.